7 Pokemon you should just not lane with in Pokemon Unite. There are so many better options. We're starting off with what I think is the most obvious one, which is Dragonite. Dragonite is built for the jungle. He's not built for the lane for many reasons. Number one being the poor sustain and the pretty much zero mobility until you hit level 5. Right? If you're trying to use this Pokemon in lane, not a very good idea. Okay, it's also the fact that it's got pretty much little secure, so as you can see early on, it's really hard to contest even a Slowbro who's a defender. Right, now you'll even notice that here the junglers come up to help out and I'm able to get a big score in, but the next problem with Dragonite is that he gets his big skill at level 8 and that's also his evolution. So level 8 when you're laning is a bit of a big ask, and a lot of the time you're not going to get level 8 unless if you're ahead, and generally if you're using Dragonite in lane you're not going to get ahead because he sucks. If you're using Lucario and you're up against a Dragonite, you should be winning that pretty much 100% of the time. You've got the biggest advantage over that Pokemon. Okay, so you can see at this point in the game, I finally hit that Power Spike, which is, it's just way too late in the game to be hitting a Power Spike for your laning Pokemon. The laning phase is well over, the first objective phase is pretty much over, so it's not good enough. Second up, we've got Charizard. Charizard is kind of good, but not in the lane. Charizard, again, I think is more built for the jungle. This is because his range is so bad. Have a look at his range of his basic attacks. It's just pathetic. And his ability to be able to secure or put any pressure on the enemies is just nothing. And as well as that, he's not really a Pokemon you're going to be stacking with unless if you're using one of those Japanese meta builds, which it is a cool build, but it's really not for everyone. So you can see even with the support of the Clefairy, I got a bit of a bad lag spike, but it's really not that great, okay? A lot of the time, if you're using a Pokemon like this, you're going to need your jungler to come down and do well, and you're also praying that their jungler doesn't come down for the 3v3, because you need all the help you can get to get online with this Pokemon. Again, similar to the Dragonite, once you hit level 5, you get your Charmeleon, you get your second skill, you get a lot more range and mobility if you're using Flamethrower, which is what I like to use. So I think in the lane, not very good. You can get snowballed pretty hard. I'm personally not a fan of using Charizard. Now, our third pick that I think you just shouldn't be going into the lane with is Greninja. Now, this is the same gameplay, but my team has made 2 mistakes. I've made a mistake by using the Charmeleon, and my teammate has made a mistake by using a Greninja in lane. And you can see we're almost at the 7-minute mark, right? We've been laning for almost 3 minutes at this stage, which in the world of Pokemon Unite, that's a very long time. And he still hasn't hit his level 5, he just hit it then. And you can see here, like while I'm getting these bees very carefully, almost dying, if you look on the minimap, we still don't have a Greninja at 6 minutes, right? Now, this is because he just didn't get the support that he needed to get online. Okay, now you shouldn't be picking a Pokemon in lane that needs 100% attention. It's like you need to have a tank and you need to have jungler support every single gank. Okay, it's pick a different option. It's just not built for the lane. Heading on a little bit of a side tangent here, this is actually, I was in the solo queue with this Clefable, and I actually really dig this combination of late game. If you've got a jungling Charizard and a Clefable on your team, you just want to pocket each other, because you can see the Charizard can go in if you get that Unite move off that's big, and if the Clefable just dives on you with the Gravity Moonlight, you're able to get so much healing off. Like, I am so comfortable diving this deep knowing my Clefable's got me, because look at the healing. Look at the healing. Right, and then with the gravity ability, a lot of the Pokemon that dive you with those dash moves, they're stunned if they go on that AoE. So like, look at that, it's like you're pretty much back up to full. And so if that Clefable's sitting on you with the gravity while you're using the Unite move, I think this is such a cool idea. I think it's totally unexplored. So really, really cool. You could probably use it with something else, but I think Clefable is probably the best supporter in the game at the moment, hands down. By far the best supporter. So good. I think Gravity is definitely the most broken move. Okay, if you're trying to learn E-Speed Lucario right now, good luck, because if you E-Speed into the Gravity, E-Speed goes on cooldown and you get stunned. So essentially, if you E-Speed into the Gravity Zone, you die. So it's not a very good time. Number 4 on my list of Pokemon that should not be in the lane This one shouldn't even be said. This should be like a pick 0, right? But it has to be said because it's still seen in Master Lobbies. Guys, Cinderace is a jungle Pokemon. It's not a lane Pokemon. Now, there's a lot of reasons for this. If you're using a Cinderace in a lane, like, can it work? If you're versing good players, they're going to clean you up. Okay, but you need a tank. Like, here I'm laning with a Dodrio. So, look at the enemies. They're like, oh, a Score Bunny. Let's just dive it and kill it. So I have to eject and get away and do relatively well there. And you've just got absolutely no secure. If you want to get any momentum in the lane, you need to have your jungler come down and help you out. So this guy using Gardevoir, if anybody recognizes this name, Stu, SC.Stu, this guy is insanely good. I played with him in some lobbies and he is really, really good at this game. So back onto that topic, you need a tank to support you. You're just really bad until level 7. You keep the same skills until level 7, and then you get your Cinderace evolve, and then you get that second skill at level 8. So you get the level 7, level 8, level 9 power spike, which as a laner that needs a lot of support, that's just not good enough. And especially if you're taking it to solo queue, not good at all. Next on my hit list, Tyranitar should not be in a lane. Full stop. Okay, this Pokemon, for many reasons. One of it is the range of this Pokemon. The secure's okay, and the skills are okay. Rock Polish is a fair bit of mobility, but it's got quite a long cooldown, but you can work with that. Okay, Bite has got some secure, but again, it's got the no range, so you can get bullied by these ranged attackers, or if you've just got a tank in your face early in the lane, you're going to get absolutely nothing. Now, it's the snowballing effect of this Pokemon which sucks. It's a level 5 evolution, and you get the skill, but then after that, he gets a big level 9 power spike. Okay, that is as a laner. We're talking as a laner. Between level 5 and level 9 to get no benefit whatsoever, or very little benefit. You're just staying the same here. There's rock. Okay, it's not good enough. So you can see at this point in the game, my team wasn't winning, and it's at the halfway point, I finally get that power spike, and by this stage in the game, it's really not good enough. Now, next on the hit list is number 6, Zeraora. Zeraora is just so tough to use. This Pokemon needs some sort of a rework, right? The fact that you get the 2 skills at level 6 and level 8 just means that if you're versing people who are good in their lane with what they're doing, you're just in so much trouble. Okay, you're just such a big disadvantage, because when you hit that level 5, the other Pokemon generally is going to have their skill. Okay, not generally, they will have their skill. So they've already got that advantage. So even if you've got the level advantage, some Pokemon like Azumarill, get their skill level 4. So you can be versing an Azumarill and they've got that advantage on you because they've got that skill and that evolution, and you could be a level up, but you're still not doing as well. So again, if you don't win the lane, like I'm not winning the lane here because Zeraora can get bullied, I'm not getting my skill, my first skill until that 7-minute 20 mark. And I'm not getting the second skill until like 5 minutes 30. Right, that's like halfway through the game. So that's a big struggle to use this Pokemon with. So I don't think it's a very good pick in lane. I think there's definitely better picks. It's not the absolute worst, right? But it definitely does not belong in a lane. Now, my last on this list is Dragapult. Dragapult is a great jungler. It's a great auto attacker. I don't think it's the best. I think Dragapult's very snowball heavy because of how his skills work, but in the lane, this Pokemon just does not provide enough value in a lane. This for many reasons. Number one is you're not really ever going to stack with this Pokemon. Okay, you run a Muscle Band, you run a Rapid Fire Scarf, and you run a Scope Lens. So generally you're not going to be running attack weight, and you wouldn't even want to run deep with the attack weight anyway, so you're not really getting the pressure of stacking, right, with your attacker. The second thing is that you can't store boosted attacks with this Pokemon. Okay, the more you basic, you can see the gauge goes up, and you can't store that. So you can't store a boosted attack to get any secures. If you want to get a secure, you've pretty much just got to land it by hitting your basic attack or your Astonish. Generally, you're going to want to keep quick attack on your cooldown because that's your mobility move early. So, great range, great pick, but just not for the lane. I just don't think it's good enough. Like in this game, I've got the help of the jungler comes down, their jungler comes down, so that's very fortunate that happened. But you can see I don't necessarily play this laning phase bad, but we're just still behind, right? Like, we managed to bully them back a little bit. They tried to push us forward, okay? Now, Dragapult, I'm going to say this for one reason. Is he the best jungler? If I'm going off topic here a little bit, I think no, purely because of how his skills work. Okay, Dragon Dance has a very long cooldown, 12 seconds. But if you get an assist in the kill, it reduces the cooldown by 6 seconds. And if you kill the other person by using Dragon Dance, it completely resets the cooldown. Now you think, oh, that's really good. That's, you know, that's really strong. It's like, well, what if your team's losing? You're not getting assists and you're not getting kills. Well, then that skill has got such a long cooldown, and a lot of the time you're just going to be using it for mobility to escape. So all you're going to be doing is just these range basic attacks, and that's pretty much the only bit of value that you can provide with Dragapult. So I think this Pokemon is very snowbally. You might think, oh, he's so broken. It's like, because when you lose to it, he just smashes you because of how his abilities work. Okay, but there you got it. That is my list of 7 Pokemon I think you just should not jungle with. So let's recap. We got the Dragonite, the Charizard, the Greninja, the Cinderace, the Tita, Zeraora, and Dragapult. If you think I've missed any, let me know. I think there's definitely some we could put on the list. I think there's probably more than 7 because there's so many Pokemon on the roster, and a lot of these Pokemon, there's just so many better picks to put in a lane. So let me know what you think, if I've missed any, or if you think that any should be in the list.